Nick, can you tap your microphone? I don't know if that was a joke.
No, it was. I thought you were making a joke because I was
Oh.
like, I don't have a microphone, but I
Steph,
realized
Can you tap yours?
I do.
Harder. Really give a smack. Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that
Who's been a bad road mic? Hey, Screenmates, I'm Nick.
I'm Steph.
And this is Chris, the Screenplay Fish, aka today, Micro Trans Sardine by Brainiac03. It's a bit of a stretch.
That's a bit of a stretch, I think.
bit of a stretch.
I was like, as it was going through,
Yeah.
I was like, where is this gonna go? And then it just went,
Yeah. Off. But we appreciate the effort. If you want to name that fish, use the hashtag name that fish in the comments. But we're not here to talk about fish today. If we are, they're racist ones, because we're here to talk about Twitch. Again, over the weekend, there's been some racial happenings.
why does this keep happening?
Because the internet is a terrible mistake, and it should not have been existed in the first place. Been existed. It's certainly a Tuesday. So over the weekend, what's happened? Sadokist is a big CS:GO caster, and he was doing a birthday stream. He got drunk and he said the N-word.
Until I go 100%, you fucking I mean, what?
And then he also told
The worst one.
yeah, it's one of the worst words. And then he also told a viewer to kill a member of the CS:GO community to kill themselves. This guy has apparently been harassing Sadokist, so they had a bit of an antagonistic relationship. Regardless, Twitch have gone, we're not happy with this, we're suspending you, and then we'll see what happens with the CS:GO community in terms of his presence in future tournaments. And then there was an Overwatch player, EQO, who did the Asian eye pullback thing, talking about
Right.
he likes Koreans, and he said, I am a Korean. He's not, he's Colombian. He says that he was doing it in a way that was like celebrating how good they are at esports, and it just kind of doesn't come across like that.
Well, this is the question. I think the first thing that everyone says when something like this happens is, "I'm not racist.
Yes.
Like, I'm not a racist person. This one thing that slipped out doesn't reflect who I am."
Your PewDiePie moments.
Yeah, and I'd say, like, there's probably some truth to that in most cases, but I guess we need to examine why is it that people feel entitled to use those words to the point where it's common enough in their vocabulary that it could just slip out. Because you don't have a kind of weird moment where you just say a word that you never say.
Yeah.
That's a word that's part of your vocabulary. You've said this before. Like, you're not saying that word unless it's something that you regularly use as part of your, like,
Yeah, you day-to-day whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't say the word cuttlefish
Cuttlefish.
on a day-to-day basis. So
Right.
cuttlefish is not a word that I kind of just go,
Wouldn't slip out in a heated moment.
yeah, I wouldn't call someone a cuttlefish, because while you were talking, I was sitting there going, what's a word I never say that I could use as an example? And it took me a long time to come up with cuttlefish, and I think it proves that I never say cuttlefish that much. And I think that what you said, the entitlement thing, I think that's the key, because we also saw recently Ninja get kind of busted on this as well, where he said the N-word while he was rapping on stream.
Yeah, I'm supplying the wood like Elijah. They're gonna smoke in the indica, part of
But
Elijah.
the song that he was...
The song he was rapping to didn't actually have that lyric in it anyway, so it wasn't even like he was singing along and then sang that lyric, because he kind of added a word in it that wasn't.
Which makes it way more complicated than
But even if it was, you just don't sing that bit, right? I'm gonna sing a song for you.
Okay.
You sing the next line as you would if you were just like out and about in life.
Okay, cool.
Or live streaming to
I-
like a bajillion people.
I just need to... Is this a rap song?
Yes.
Okay, this is going to be very embarrassing, but go.
I ain't saying she a gold digger.
But she ain't messing with no broke...
Yeah, right? You just don't sing that bit.
You just don't say... That is... I think that's a great point. You self-censor. And the issue that, Ninja has had is that Twitch have not banned or suspended him. They have banned and suspended other people for racist language. And you have to look at, okay, why is this the case? And I think that the first thing is he makes Twitch a lot of money. Like, he makes a stack of money for Twitch, and for them to do something to him that is dangerous for their business model, I think. That they don't want to be... He goes off and suddenly joins Mixer, like the 6 other people on Mixer, and then suddenly that becomes a big deal. But the second thing is, like we said, it's a song. This is a word that's been used and acceptable for the art form that it's being used in. As a white guy, is he allowed to say that? You think self-censor.
For sure.
Yeah, and so
For sure.
So do you think that across Twitch they should be going, You just can't, like, should it just be a blanket ban on the word, no matter who you are?
Oh, I mean, that's complicated, but probably.
I think so. I think that, it's, if Twitch don't want to be seen as a place where racist language is accepted, then I think that we are not, as like a community, mature enough to be able to go, because every time this happens, people go, why are rappers allowed to say it? Why are black people allowed to say that word? And I think that there's a whole lot of reasons as to why it's okay for certain groups of people to use certain words and others to not. But as a community, Twitch is not nuanced enough to understand that. So there needs to be just a blanket, okay, if you can't play nice with your toys, we're going to take your toys away. And in this case, the toy is the N-word, and no one is allowed to use it, even if in day-to-day society, it's more acceptable for you to use it there.
It's a tricky situation, and I feel like the internet is a place where it's really hard to... We don't have a system of classification of content the way we have for movies and games and things like that, when people are just kind of out there making their own content, they can do what they want. So we're in this kind of weird grey area now. We have to really decide what's acceptable on the platform that you're giving people kind of free reign to do whatever they want on. But I think when something like this happens, Twitch need to, first of all, I think, demonetize that or block access to that person's ability to make money from the platform for
Like
at least
hit them where it hurts sort of thing.
yeah, like for at least a week or something like that.
Yep.
You know, enough for them to kind of feel it, and ban them from streaming for a week, and then I think they need to make a public apology, and then you can come back, and then that sets a precedent, right? That's like strikes fear in the hearts of anyone who would, deign to use the N-word in future.
What if you do that like 6 times? Do you just have 6 weeks of being banned and 6
I think
fines
then you
or whatever?
increase the duration of banning
Yeah, okay.
more and
Exponentially.
more. Exponentially, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a good system. I feel like, I think that there needs to be some sacrificial lambs. I think that you need to come down hard and fast, and for some people it's going to suck that you made a mistake, and that, I don't believe that everyone who uses racist language is racist, but I think that in some cases it's like, all right, sorry, you're the one who just needs to go, because we need to prove a point to the community. Like, we need to come down and go, this is how it is, and you need to be, like children, scared of doing the wrong thing. No one's scared of doing the wrong thing.
The thing that sucks is that this, like, a particular kind of language and, like, smack talk has been, prevalent within the online gaming community since online gaming has been a thing. And there are certain communities in particular, like, we talked about CSGO, that's definitely one of the worst. And that's always been kind of a known thing, but kind of within those communities. But now when you have this thing that's like a broadcast to, like, kids, then that's perpetuating the use of that language among those young people that are watching them and looking up to them and stuff like that. So I feel like it's just going to exacerbate the problem if we don't
clamp down on it.
Clamp down. I think swear words are fine. I think swear words are equal opportunity, but I think
Racially, racist,
stuff
homophobic,
is,
that sort of stuff.
we can't tolerate that kind of thing.
There was a great thread running around the weekend on Twitter about the fighting game community, and that the fighting game community had this problem where they were a really small insular community, and as the years went on, less fighting games were coming out, and so the community got smaller and smaller, and it became more like, okay, there were acceptable in-jokes and things that you wouldn't say in public, but you would say there because everyone knew that this was like a safe place for you to kind of say whatever you want, really. And then Street Fighter 4 came out, and it blew up, and suddenly they're getting hundreds of thousands of new people into this community, and it became this like fulcrum point of going, okay, we need to now decide who we are as a community, and that the guys at the top, who were like the old school fighting tournament runners, just came out and went, all right, there is no hate speech, no swearing, no sexist, misogynistic, whatever. We're coming down because this is like, everyone is watching us now, and this is how it's going to be. And they like kicked out a bunch of people and like just really enforced it hard. And by doing that, they cleaned up their community, as much as possible for online. And I think that's what Twitch need to do.
I agree. It's hard because I understand that the internet, for all intents and purposes, has been a place for people to have more free reign to kind of, live without those kinds of structures. But I think once we get to the point where you have someone like Ninja who has such a huge following, we can't have that person using that kind of language and not face any repercussions for it.
Yeah, Twitch is just a Wild West social experiment at the moment that I think the company is still just struggling to deal with. But we have found out what you guys think about this with your screen save. The first screen say comes in from Ziana, who is herself a content creator for Geekbomb. Usually the context for this kind of language is I was playing a video game and I got really frustrated, so I used the N-word to voice my anger at the game or another player. That's inexcusable, no matter how you look at it. I've been frustrated and sworn at a game, but never used racial slurs. Not hard. I mean, this is Cuttlefish all over again, isn't it?
It's Cuttlefish.
This is Cuttlegate.
the Cuttlefish example.
Yeah. Oblivious Geek says context is always important, but in these cases, there are always people that won't understand the context, particularly young children. So we're talking about, like, Ninja being a perfect example. He's singing along to a rap song that, again, I can't clear enough, did not contain the word, but whatever. But young kids don't necessarily understand the difference between, all this sort of stuff. That needs to be kept in mind by the streamers, and a system with warnings, education, and finally bans implemented by the relevant platforms. I locked the iPad, and now I can't see the rest of your answers. Will, don't let them see my password. The next answer came on from @DredgeGuy, I think. Given how the public loves a sports scandal, see every other sport in Australia, the platforms and commentators need to take it very seriously. You can't get away with singing along to songs that endorse a negative stereotype anywhere else. Why should it be shielded by context here? And I think that's so interesting. That the AFL is never going to let Kanye use the N-word in a song and have 60,000 people sing along at a sports event and broadcast that on television. And yet Twitch is like, oh no, we're fine playing that song. And there's no judgment on Kanye's use in that song. It's just like, yeah, the platforms on which it's on need to be...
For sure.
Like, nuanced.
Yeah, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree.
And then finally, _AJ from the mailroom downstairs.
What?
Streamer singing along to a bit of hip-hop, quotes the N-word, excusable-ish. Busting out a Nazi salute after a hard fight in Attorney, not so much. So the hard line he's drawing is no Nazi salutes after you get a, chicken dinner. Do you agree?
I mean, I still think the use, I think, for me, the N-word, I think you just don't say it.
Steph's never
you see
getting...
yourself, you go broke to broke.
Steph's never getting another parcel delivered to this room ever again. All right, guys, what do you think about this? Should Twitch just take a hard line and ban the word full stop? Is there nuance we're missing? Let us know in the comments. Were you there? Name.fish. Use the hashtag Name.fish. Goodbye. Happy Easter. It's late, but it's the thought that counts.
We have a rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
Ish.
And a fish. We could eat him. You eat fish on Easter.
Do you?
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Oh.
Jesus was a fish or something.
I don't really know much about that. If you liked this video, why not hit the like button? Because that seems like the logical thing to do. You can also subscribe to our channel. Make sure you turn notifications on so you get a notification when we put up a new video.
I don't know why that sounded like a current affair, but it did. We've also got videos here and here if you're keen on checking them out. Fairly certain none of them feature the M word.